So far, we've explored Nightfarers that have a strong effect on the overall story we're interacting with. But not every playable character has a significant impact on the final outcome of the war between the Round Table and the Knight. There are many stories to tell in Limveld, and they're just as important as those that have direct ties to the Night Lord and our purpose. For instance, the tale of two pirates, captains on the high seas, and the rivalry they'd cultivated over many years. It's not a story we would expect, but it is one worth telling. Today we are going to dive deep into the uncharted waters navigated by the Raider, so that we can better understand this complex man, who, while looking like a drunken brute, is often shown caring for others and helping them reach a better place in their personal journeys. Not every Nightfarer came to the hold out of a sense of duty. This man is simply a force of nature, chasing the most glorious battles, and trudging ever forward to his own personal goals. Thank you for joining us as we explore the lore of the Nightfarers one at a time. Each Nightfarer has their own dedicated quests and journal entries, and we wanted to make sure we held a space to explore each of these stories in their entirety and share our thoughts on the less clear-cut concepts they bring up. If this is your first time finding the channel, thanks for joining us, and if you're a longtime subscriber, know that we appreciate you. Don't forget that we pay close attention to the questions that pop up in the comments, so feel free to ask whatever you'd like. Also, make sure to check out our Discord, where we're building an active Nightreign community you can join so you never have to play with randos. If you feel like this video is worth your time by the end, please consider subscribing, but no pressure. Your viewership is always more than enough for us. With that said, let's talk about the Raider. The Raider's journal begins with his arrival at the Round Table Hold, a look at a time now past. The pirates of the coastal waters loved nothing more than a worthy rival, and thus the Raider made his way to Limveld. The encroaching Night Lord was precisely the challenge he wished for, or so his intuition told him. The moment he stepped foot in the Round Table Hold, he knew that he was right, and when he donned the white-horned helmet, he was certain that he could hear it. The gentle murmuring of the waves of the coastal waters that were once so familiar. The Raider is here for one reason, and one reason alone. He wants to fight the Night Lord. There is no great nobility behind his thirst for battle. He simply wants to prove his superiority as the strongest warrior on land and sea. His own weapon tells us he's been crafting his legacy over time with this battle-focused mindset. The Raider's preferred weapon, a great axe fashioned from a ship's figurehead. On his first voyage, the Raider vanquished countless pirates on the high seas. When a figurehead was dislodged from its ship during a tumultuous back and forth, the Raider claimed it for himself, that it might later serve as a reminder of his glorious exploits. Everywhere he goes, the Raider carries the symbol of his passion for battle and victory. After we indulge his appetite for combat and defeat a Night Lord, we learn more about him. The Raider removed the helmet and placed it on the floor with a thunk. The war with the Knight was constant, never leaving an idle moment. And yet, he felt oddly unfulfilled. Do you feel the same, old friend? As he murmured to himself, he patted the white horns of his beloved helmet. They were chiseled and worn, reminders of the countless battles waged heretofore. There must be someone who'd pour his soul into a battle to the death. A rival fierce enough to make one's blood boil. He was certain that such a warrior could not be far, and perhaps even quite close, maybe right here in the Round Table Hold. It would seem none of these battles against the denizens of Limveld or the Night Lords at the end of each cycle were enough for the Raider. With each victory, he proved to himself that these creatures of the night were unworthy of being his rivals. Interestingly, it would seem the Iron Menial was announcing something grand, a tourney meant to bring together the greatest warriors in the lands between to fight for supremacy.
This monument stands testament to a series of proud battles. Long ago, sacred rituals were held in the name of Grin, god of war, to extol the virtue of the soul. Conquerors of neighboring seas were gathered to fight in contests of strength, each with the potential to discover a truly worthy opponent. As you can see, This stone records the history of what transpired. Oh, my stars. That was the starting signal. I can't believe it, but it seems you've been chosen to participate in a battle to prove your valor. The tourney of the lands between has begun. The electricity in the air lingers. As I mentioned, the tourney between is a sacred ritual of combat. A contest of strength designed to display and celebrate the valor of the victor's soul. From a field of 8 participants. As you might surmise, the winner must emerge victorious from 3 battles in total. The monument will reveal the fight for which you have been chosen. Once you feel prepared, touch the stone.
After touching the stone, the raider is transported to the first round of the tourney, where he does battle against the one-strike gladiator, a man as fearsome as his name suggests. The raider must face this opponent alone, as one cannot enter the arena with their companions. And seems whenever it's time for us to take on another round, we must do so solo. Upon his defeat, the gladiator drops a torn braided cord. A torn magic warding braided cord, worn by warriors for good luck on the eve of battle. The distinctive stone clasp suggests that it belonged to glory-seeking pirates. The legends surrounding the competing seafaring factions, who divided the seas into east and west, have been spoken of for generations in places near and far. It looks like his opponent was also a pirate, possibly even one he had locked horns with in the past. And with this victory, the raider moves on to the next round of the tourney, with some unexpected encouragement from the Iron Eye.
Congratulations on your victory. I should have expected nothing less. But oh, what's that you have there? Well, I think... Allow me some time to look into it, won't you? For now, why don't you touch the monument again to see what is next in store for you? A worthy foe, no doubt. It won't reveal to you your next opponent. Perhaps the other battles are yet to conclude. I suppose all you can do is try again later.
I've got high hopes for you. With your physique, no run-of-the-mill opponent stands a chance. But don't think it'll be the same next time. You'd best go in prepared.
The tourney of the lands between was finished, and once again he found himself peering at his white-horned helmet. It was a good feeling, but he wanted more. He recalled the words of the Iron Menial, the potential to discover a truly worthy opponent. For the pirates of the coastal waters, such a rival is more precious than any treasure. Being forced to wait for the next round of the tourney, the raider again set out to Limveld with his companions, fighting back against the night, possibly as a way to keep his senses sharp for the next round. As of yet, nothing in Limveld has met his standard for a true rival, but perhaps the next round would change that. It was around this time the raider noticed one of his companions wasn't doing very well. The Wilder sat by himself, tending to his sword, not really willing to speak with anyone else inside the hold. He spoke with the Duchess, hoping she could be of some help, suggesting that she find something the Wilder can use to better tend to his weapon. Upon her completion of this task, the raider was happy to know that his companions would be looking out for each other, just as he intended on looking out for them. The anticipation of his next battle reminded him of an old memory from his time sailing the coastal waters. A wave knocked the raider onto the shore, and his first mate Weathervane called out to him. "Ah, are you alive, Captain?" The raider replied by slamming a fist into his low-worn helmet, causing a gush of blood, but he paid it no mind. Never should have asked. Weathervane sighed, but at the same time appeared to be scribbling some notes. The raider took notice, and Weathervane brazenly chuckled. "I've got front row seats to a duel to the death between two bloody beasts. Figured I could make a fortune if I got the details down." Before diving into the next round of the tourney, this first mate, Weathervane, is an important figure in the raider's life. and we only learn about her through the Duchess's storyline. When talking to the raider, he tells her a story about Weathervane, confessing he wasn't much of a pirate himself with his focus on battle. Weathervane was his first mate, a young girl who looked up to him as an older brother, and it was his stubbornness that led to a falling out between the two, a falling out that led to Weathervane's death in Limveld. While it seems she found what it was she was looking for out in the world, the raider still lives with the death of his apprentice on his conscience. With this understanding, we know Weathervane was someone close to the raider, someone who may have been able to break him out of his single-mindedness. And his care for his companions at the Round Table Hold suddenly makes a whole lot more sense, when we consider he doesn't want to see his previous failings repeated. The time would come where the second round of the tourney was upon the raider, and he made his way to the Iron Menial, as his opponent was not quite ready to fight.
I have made some discoveries regarding what you showed me when last we spoke. I found something rather interesting in a history of the coastal waters. Have a look for yourself. The Whitehorn ruled the West Waters, while the Black Claw presided over the eastern seas. The pattern of the braid is proof enough. It is the mark of the very same Whitehorn, which, if I'm not mistaken, is you. You were searching for the Black Claw, were you not? The ancient enemy with whom you could finally settle your business. It appears your next opponent has been decided. All you need do is touch the monument.
The scroll given to us by the menial reveals a bit of the history of the coastal waters. A scrap of paper with a Nor on the Whitehorn, part of a legend of the coastal waters, written by a certain first mate. Two seafarers, one from the west and the other from the east, were once locked in a fierce competition for influence. The Whitehorn ruled the western waters, while the Black Claw resided over the eastern seas. Upon the shore did they contend for 7 days and 7 nights to see which was the stronger. While fought bravely, a clear victor felt undeterminable. It seems this piece of the legend was written by Weathervane, and it clearly speaks to the raider and his true rival. After reading this, the raider's next opponent was ready. The pirate of the coast was face to face with a blinding elder lion, a fierce competitor to be sure, but not one he couldn't handle. In a fierce battle between a vicious hunter and a brick wall of a man, the raider came out on top, and both the Iron Menial and the Iron Eye wished to speak with him.
Victorious again. Well played, my champion. Now all that remains is a single match. I fear that you have already guessed it. But yes, your next foe is the worthy Black Claw. Just one last victory is all we need. Go on.
I knew you'd come good. Were you fighting sea monsters in your pirate days? I can see why history remembers you. Next is the grand finale. No room for doubt anymore. Make sure you come back the victor.
It's interesting how the Iron Eye opens up to the raider, wanting to learn more about the pirates of the coast, showing us another side of this typically guarded assassin. This speaks to the temperament of the raider. The other Nightfarers see him as a stalwart companion, an older brother figure, much like Weathervane once did. He proves it time and again in wanting to help ease the burdens of his companions by asking the Duchess to help the Wilder and sharing his stories with those wanting to listen. After the raider finished this round of the tourney of the Lance Between, the Iron Eye asked him a question. Whitehorn and Blackclaw, was it? Intriguing story, but I heard they never settled who'd rule the coastal waters. Why not? The assassin of the Fellowship had suddenly become quite talkative about naval campaigns. Perhaps we'll never know, but I can say one thing. With a smile, the raider slapped his helmet. Pirates of the coastal waters never forget a vow to lock horns. We'd rather die than live as cowards. Again, the raider was forced to wait for his next opponent. But this time, something was wrong. The raider waited for the commencement of the final match of the tourney of the Lands Between, but the Iron Menial noticed something amiss with the monument. There is no sign of a coming battle. Perhaps something's happened to your challenger. But the raider was patient. He knew that this was a time for patience, and moreover, that his opponent was fond of arriving late. The sea breeze reminded him of his memories of the coastal waters. The raider sat on the shore, where they were arranged to meet. Weathervane pleaded with him. "Give this one up, Captain. He's part of the night now." The raider peered west at a sea engulfed by darkness and punched the white-horned helmet. "I'll hold on to this for now." After reminiscing for a moment, he was interrupted by a gentle murmur of waves. The raider opened his eyes and gazed silently out at the waters. He knew where he must go, for when the sea summons them to fight, the call must be answered. It seems as though the raider came to the lands between not to face the Night Lord, but to lock horns once again with his ultimate opponent, the pirate who he had once done battle with for 7 straight hours with no clear victor. The man from the west, the White Horn, was lost to the night, which means the raider, with his white horn helmet, must be the Black Claw. While the monument had told them that his opponent had forfeit, the raider knew that the White Claw must be waiting for him on the beach. 2 pirates of their caliber would not meet each other in the arena. They would meet where once their passions flared and their battle raged: the coast. Upon reaching the water, the raider is brought back to the Colosseum, where he can do battle against his rival, the White Horn. A fierce competitor in his own right, the White Horn is no match for the raider, not in his current state, eaten away by darkness. It's not until he succumbs completely to the night that he stands a fighting chance, becoming an ulcerated tree spirit and attacking the raider with golden fire. No one man was meant to fight a tree spirit and live to tell the tale, but the raider, in his single-minded pursuit of victory against the man he traveled the seas to face, did not let that stop him. Eventually, he felled the White Horn, putting an end to their ceaseless competition. And for this, he was met with revelry from the menial and the Iron Eye.
The curtain falls upon the tourney. I saw the beacon rise, just like the start. Now, as much as I'd love to tender my heartfelt congratulations, you should take a look at the monument yourself.
Upon the defeat of the White Horn, the raider receives the Black Claw necklace, an item that once belonged to him. A necklace made from a thick, rugged claw, with a shining black luster that instills fear in any who gaze upon it. Long ago, the raider fought the king of the archipelago forest. He grappled the hulking beast with his iron grip and flung him away, proving his strength. He claimed the king's broken claw as a trophy and testament to his victory. For a time, the raider devoted himself to exploits on the high seas, but he tired of the unending struggle that never seemed to determine a clear victor. And so, he delivered the claw to his arch-nemesis as an invitation to duel to the death. It would seem before their first meeting, the White Horn and the Black Claw exchanged symbols of their previous victories in order to challenge each other to a duel. This explains why the raider wears the white horns and bones of an animal, likely a kill of the White Horns. The White Horn respected him in the same way, by wearing the Black Claw necklace. After the glow of battle had worn off, there was nothing left for the raider to do but pay his respects to the man who pushed him to be stronger than he ever thought possible.
Yes, I rather think you had better pay your respects. Allow me to help.
I suppose this puts an end to our contest. Giving these back, partner. Rome free.
well done. I doubt there will ever be another tourney of the lands between again, though it is a ritual which enables the victor to enter the battle they most desire to face. The monument is drained of energy. Now its role seems to have been played out. Satisfied in its way, I should think. Let's leave it be. I am sure that will be for the best.
Maybe now isn't the time, but well done. You've proved you are peerless in your strength. Might not have been a happy memory for you, but I'll never forget what you've achieved.
The final match was held, bringing the tourney of the lands between to its conclusion. The raider gave the Whitehorn helmet back to its owner, and was Black Claw once again. A gentle wind brushed his cheek. He wondered how Weathervane may have recorded their battle in words. The pirates of the coastal waters loved nothing more than a worthy rival. But these days, the raider no longer hears the gentle murmur of the waves. For him, the sea churns no longer. In the end, the raider takes back his mantle as the Black Claw, and we can see how he earned his namesake through his remembrance skin. Underneath his armor, when his face and shoulders are not obscured by the Whitehorn's helm, we can see the black claw marks embedded in his flesh. It would seem a large creature, with the power of death, has left their mark. It's unclear if this was the king mentioned in the description of the Black Claw necklace, but I'm inclined to believe it was not, as that claw is far too small to have belonged to whatever creature left the imprint of their massive fingers across his body. I like to think the raider once did battle with Malekith, the Black Blade, perhaps in the times of Godfrey's Colosseum, where they may have walked away with their lives regardless of the outcome. We can't know for sure if this is the way of things, but it's hard to imagine anyone else leaving those massive black claw marks on the raider's body. I believe it's after the end of the tourney between that the events of the Duchess's story take place, as the raider seems to be more relaxed, maybe even a little lost before he shared Weathervane's story. He's often found drinking in the dining hall, possibly due to losing his purpose after finally defeating his rival and putting his night-stricken spirit to rest. In hearing Weathervane's final words, I believe the raider, the Black Claw, may find something of himself again, encouraging the Duchess to follow her own path, and perhaps seeing a future for himself as well, back on the high seas. In this way, the raider's story doesn't end with his remembrance. He continues to be a source of wisdom and camaraderie amongst his fellow Nightfarers. While the raider may not have a personal motive in the destruction of the Night Lord, it would seem supporting the warriors around him, acting as their frontline fighter, is enough to drive this old pirate forward, after he's put the winds of the past to his back. The raider, at the end of his journey, is ready to continue sailing toward the next horizon, in search of a new path, a new rival, a new purpose. Thank you for joining me as I attempted to cobble together the story of the raider. With one of the more insulated remembrance journals amongst the Nightfarers, it was interesting to see how he plays his part in the larger story, outside of his own personal story. Do you believe the raider's quest is one of the first to conclude? Meaning the other characters' stories he interacts with happen after the tourney? Was his goal always to face his rival in the lands between, or did that opportunity present itself along the way? How do you think the raider received his black claw marks? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Watch that button light up as I ask you to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and set notifications to all, so you never miss out on any of our lore dives. We look forward to seeing you again for more Elden lore.